like I just peed a little.
Alrighty, let's talk Freakier Friday, the long-awaited sequel to Freaky Friday, starring once again Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Now, I did like this movie, and so I'm clarifying because I have a lot of negatives. But I've got to be honest, most of the positives are 100% wrapped up in nostalgia. You know, I love seeing the crew back together. Jamie Lee and Lindsay Lohan together was great. Mark Harmon popping up, especially after all those years on NCIS, you know, just kind of put a smile on my face. You know, there are moments in here that made me happy, but the problem is that the first and second acts are kind of weak. So, the initial premise is that Lindsay Lohan's character has a daughter in high school, and she runs into this British girl that she can't stand, and they develop this little rival. And after they both end up getting in trouble one day for causing a food fight, the parents are then called in, and that's when Lindsay Lohan meets the British girl's dad. And fast forward 6 months, they're about to get married, and Lindsay Lohan and this man are about to get married. And at the bachelorette party, you know, that's when the body swap magic happens. The twist is that this time, instead of 2 people swapping, there's 4. So the British girl, I'm trying to remember, she's in Jamie Lee Curtis, the daughter is in Lindsay Lohan, Lindsay Lohan is in her daughter, and Jamie Lee Curtis is in the British girl. There we go. On paper, that's a great setup, and I thought it was going to be kind of hilarious, because just in saying out loud sounds very funny. But it's not. It's not funny at all. It's not. For example, there's a scene where the British girl, now in Jamie Lee Curtis's body, has to go shopping for essentials with Mark Harmon. And, you know, she's a teenager in an older woman's body, so she's confused about what to buy, and he's pointing to the senior section. And the concept is solid, but that execution's flat. Like, it's just not funny. The comedy's subjective, you know, I get that, but in my theater, nobody was laughing. It's, like, packed. And, you know, compare that to the original Freaky Friday, which I rewatched, you know, last week for my Pixel and Popcorn video. That movie still had moments that were very funny, and even the ones I knew that were coming, I still laughed a lot. And this one just didn't land. It was definitely that modern age comedy. So the first and second acts mostly focus on the 2 brothers, or not brothers, daughters, trying to break up Lindsay and Manny's character. Manny Jacinto. Yeah, that's, by the way, love Manny, I think it's his name, Manny Jacinto. Loved him in Acolyte. No people hated that show, but he's so great in that, great in Good Place. Love to see him here. He's a positive in this film. Love him. And so in this film, not only do they have Manny, but they also bring Jake back from the original movie, which, you know, could have been a nostalgic moment, but that also felt kind of flat. The humor felt very watered down and overly childish, and I know that it's a Disney PG movie, but even the original jokes were working for all ages, I feel like. And these jokes were more like step-by-step setups that dragged on way too long. Case in point, Lindsay Lohan's daughter is in her mom's body trying to, you know, make Jake like her, whatever, something like that. Basically be hot around her. And the scene just goes on forever, and you're just like, please wrap this up. I'm not laughing. This isn't funny. I don't know. But then, this is the positive, something clicked. Right in the middle of this movie, it was like somebody took the camera and they changed the script and they said, boom, groove. From that point, it actually started working for me. The third act is pretty great. The emotion actually started hitting hard to the point where I was like kind of close to tearing up at one scene. I said, dude, what's going on? The callbacks, the nostalgia, the beats, I won't spoil, but they landed it perfectly. The tension's built up, the payoffs worked, and like that last 40 minutes, I was like, dude, I'm locked in. God, I wish that the first and second act were like that. So even though it doesn't really hit for me because of a boring first half, the 45 minutes that did work for this movie worked really well. So with that, I can't give this a super high score like I want it to, but I'm going to give Freakier Friday a 6.5 out of 10 because it is solid enough to recommend if you're a fan of the original. But if you did not care for the original Freaky Friday the first time around, don't watch this. The callbacks aren't going to land. The humor won't hit, which it didn't for me, and I'm a fan of the original. And it's going to feel regrettable. It really feels like a Disney Plus movie through and through. You know, Moana 2 and Lilo and Stitch were Disney Plus films that they moved to theatrical releases, but they felt like movies. This one really felt like it should have stayed on streaming. And I'm going to be real, I was very hyped going in, but I walked out thinking, yeah, I'll probably forget about this in like a week or so. Still, if you do love the original and want some nostalgia, it's worth a watch, I feel like. Just keep your expectations in check. And so with that, like, subscribe for more. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this movie. Did you love it more than... I guess I'll say I did. I still liked it. 6.5 is not a bad score, by the way. Don't get it twisted. And with that, I will catch you guys on the next one.
My face looks like a Birkin bag that's been left out in the sun to rot!